Hey guys, it's Adam from LLN. Check out our newest episode of Midnight Tour Episode 6 on youtube.com/loudlabsnewsnyc.
For a firefighter, one of the more distressing calls can be for an apartment complex fire in the middle of the night. Chances are there are people, and multiple people sometimes, trapped inside.
Luckily, the New York City Fire Department is one of the best trained units in the world who are always willing to put their lives on the line for those in need.
Adjacent to New York's iconic Times Square and Broadway sits the bustling neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. Since the 1980s, this once working-class area is now home to trendy restaurants, clubs, and historic low-rise apartment buildings.
It's got a lot of history, a lot of cool little spots and restaurants. There's always something new and exciting going on in this neighborhood.
The diverse cityscape means the New York City Fire Department has to be prepared for almost anything.
There's so many different kind of buildings here. There's so many different responses, whether it be fires or car accidents. We recently had a hurricane the other day, so we train for everything.
New York is known for its busy streets and densely populated neighborhoods. Because of this, engine drivers, or chauffeurs, are a vital part of any rescue operation. New York's fire and rescue team would rely heavily on their chauffeurs when a fire broke out in a 5-story apartment complex in June of 2021. Around 1 a.m., 911 began receiving frantic calls.
Getting a call that time of night usually indicates that people are home. So that's another thing that registers with us. Like, there's a good chance that there's gonna be people there that are gonna be in need of help.
Firefighter Harwood jumped in the engine as the chauffeur raced them to the scene.
The safety concerns from the initial response is first and foremost getting to the building. So our chauffeur did a great job of getting us there safely.
I'm proud to say that units arrived within just a few minutes.
Once there, it was clear. This was a massive fire.
You could see heavy fire blowing out of the 3rd floor window, as well as heavy smoke coming out of the 3rd floor and the 4th floor.
I saw heavy fire out of several windows on the 3rd floor. Shortly into the fire, there were several people that popped out onto the fire escape and they needed to be rescued from the fire escape.
Because it was a corner building with multiple tenants on both sides, the chauffeur's positioning of the engine was vital.
Multiple 1045. He did a phenomenal job by putting us in a great spot, so he got coverage of the one side of the building and exposure 4. From there, he was able to navigate and really reach us to where we needed to be.
Command, stand by.
The firefighter's first job, of course, get people out.
Our top priority, obviously, is the civilians of this great city. We want to make sure we have members that are in the building searching for them, and we want to make sure that we can get to them and get them out of a dangerous situation or dangerous place as quickly as possible.
As the ladder engines extracted survivors from windows and fire escapes, Lieutenant Joshua Presida's team went inside the building.
We operated on the 3rd floor above the fire apartment. Once we maneuvered to the floor above, I said, hey, there's probably people in here. It's the middle of the night. I said, search this apartment. And I went and searched the apartment directly over the fire by myself.
As Lieutenant Presida's team went floor to floor, pulling people from the flames, firefighter Harwood was outside the building, just trying to get to all the terrified people.
My initial plan to enter the apartment was to take the bucket up to the fire apartment window and gain entry as fast as I could and search for victims.
But as he was about to enter the burning building, he was told there was an even more dire rescue needed.
Command to rescue.
I heard my chauffeur yelling back to me, letting me know that there was a victim hanging out of the 4th floor window on the floor above.
The person was an 80-year-old woman, and the flames were right outside her door. In the early morning hours of June 16, 2021, a 2-alarm fire broke out in a 5-story apartment complex in Hell's Kitchen, New York. Dozens of people were trapped inside a burning building.
There was a large volume of fire blowing out of several windows on the 3rd floor. Our ladder companies are tasked with doing the searches for civilians on that floor because there was extension of fire above the fire floor. And I also have to make sure that we have ladder companies searching the floors above.
Firefighter Derek Harwood was preparing to enter through a third-floor window. Then he heard there was a woman trapped and calling for help.
My goal was to get into the fire apartment, but on my way to the apartment was when I was notified that there was a victim hanging out of the floor above.
The woman was in her 80s. There was high heat, heavy smoke, and she needed to get out of there quickly.
Harwood immediately turned his attention to the frantic woman.
Firefighters often have to change their focus at the drop of a hat. When a new crisis arises, they immediately switch gears and rely on their training and quick thinking to save those in peril.
But power lines and flames shooting from the windows made Harwood's rescue extremely dangerous.
Because of the wiring and the way that the restaurant was set up with the little outside seating, he had to basically swing by the window very, very close, kneel down, like duck down in the bucket to get past the heavy fire and go up and grab the woman.
The woman was helped out to the fire escape by a firefighter inside the building. With his chauffeur guiding the bucket, Harwood began making the rescue.
At that point, I lifted the woman over the fire escape into the bucket and signaled for my chauffeur to bring us down as I shielded the woman from heavy smoke and high heat. And again, my chauffeur did a great job of just bringing us down and getting her as well as myself to safety.
Once the woman was on the ground, everyone breathed a sigh of relief.
Bringing the woman to safety, it's very gratifying. It's a great feeling. It's our job. We train for this every day. I know all the other guys rely on me to be where I'm supposed to be, and if all those guys weren't where they were supposed to be, I couldn't be in a position to do what I did that night.
And that's especially true of the chauffeurs, who did such an incredible job that day.
The rescue that was made by Ladder 21 was extraordinary. Once again, I have to give credit to my chauffeur who put us in that great position and able to use the tower ladder bucket to get two sides of the building.
We have an immense level of trust for each other in this fire department. Everybody considers each other brothers. We know that we have to rely on each other to do everything.
You can do great things if you believe in each other and believe in yourself and challenge yourself and expect greatness.
Now, nobody wants to be in a fire, but we should absolutely plan for it. There are steps you can take right now to keep yourself safe.
So remember to follow those safeguards and trust that if you're ever in an emergency situation, heroes will be there to come to your rescue.
Thanks for spending some time with us, and we hope you'll come back next time on Hearts of Heroes.